right, so we heard from Earl about some of his thoughts on innovation in the cannabis space, but now we're going to get him to speak about RMMI Corp. It's a Canadian company focused on production, cultivation, and sale of medical marijuana. So once again, let's welcome Earl Connors.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be part of this inaugural New Green Frontiers conference. I'm just completely blown away by how well this has been orchestrated. So thank you for coming here today. I want to talk a little bit about our company, and I want to talk about our company in terms of not just going through a bunch of slides, but really about the concept and about where we're going and what the opportunities are within the industry. So I'm just going to jump through some of these. We have to have those in, I'm told by our legal team. We are, as we were introduced, focused on the production of marijuana and the application of marijuana, certainly in, is this thing on? Can we get some, because I walk around a lot. Okay, that's better. So we're focused on cannabis production through AEROPONICS, and we're focused on primarily the production of oils and eventually derivatives. Our team, I'll talk about our team in roundabout terms. Our tagline is blending science with nature. And as an engineer, I'm kind of an applied scientist, if you will, and I have a high belief in science, and I knew there was a place for science in this industry, and so we tackled that. I don't want to go through each of us in terms of our credentials, etc., but I do want to say that we took a different approach when we decided to put together a team to affect our cannabis production and the extraction of oils, etc. And so we brought on board Dr. Surinder Singh, who is a plant scientist. His PhD is from McGill University, and we plucked him out of the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you very much, University of Saskatchewan, where he was doing postdoctoral work. And he has been brilliant for us. As you'll see as we go through this presentation, one of the things that I insisted we do is, while we are in the process of getting a license to produce cannabis, we got a license to produce hemp, and you'll see why as we go on. So we have a pretty good team. We've got great skill sets in leadership, in the capital markets, in accounting and finance, and certainly in cannabis production, etc. Similarly with our board, we have what I believe to be a very strong board. We've got a lot of opportunities to make sure that we're properly governed. We've got great finance and accounting and capital markets experience. Again, we've got great legal experience on our board. We have great insight into the insurance industry, and I'm also a believer that medical cannabis use will not go away. In fact, it's essential to this industry. So we have that on our board, and we have real estate expertise on our board as well, because we got to have places to do this. I'm just going to walk through briefly our strategy. Our strategy is obviously sales and distribution is key to our industry, and so we have an agreement with Namaste Technologies, and we're very much aligned with Namaste because they are a technology platform as well. But as I said earlier, blending science with nature is a key tenet of our overall strategy, and so we'll talk through that. Aeroponics is our chosen method of growing cannabis, and for a whole variety of reasons which I'll go through, including to maximize quality and yields, and I've talked a lot about that on the panel previously. We are also dedicated to product research and development. Right now, we're looking at how do we get into the drinkables industry, because there's no question that's going to be a large, large market in Canada. And so we are working on, for instance, our own emulsifier, because as you know, when you drop an oil into water, the oil floats to the top. It's about 80%, 87% the density of water, so it's always going to be at the top of things. So we're working on our own emulsifiers, for instance. These kinds of things, in addition to we want to be able to have the flexibility to formulate. Our first speaker talked about the entourage effect. I believe that's very key in this industry, is to be able to customize the formulation of oils and edibles and derivatives, etc., so that it appeals to the market. Science and organics, we are using organic nutrients, for instance. We are going to be producing organic quality products. We have no soil, so we are not anticipating the use of pesticides, which I think is very helpful in marketing the product as well. And then we're building for the future. Meaningful partnerships, Namaste being one of them. We are constantly in conversation with other companies with respect to partnerships and possible alliances, etc. There is going to be consolidation in this industry, make no mistake about it. One of the things that I caution people on is when people talk about, wow, there are just too many licenses in this industry, I say yes to that and I say no to that. Because some of those licenses are licenses that are held by very small producers. And I think that those are the opportunities for consolidation, et cetera. And at the end of the day, we're going to see a lot less licenses because there will be a lot of consolidation. This is what we've done in terms of our milestones. And we've had a very busy, just less than 2 years. In those 2 years, we've raised about $10 million in equity. We purchased a property. We built a team. We've proven our aeroponics system through the cultivation of hemp, and I'll talk a little bit about that, as I said later. We've gotten 14 months into the licensing process, and I'm hopeful that that process will come to an end fairly soon. I want to talk about now why we are using aeroponics. This is a snapshot or a screenshot of a video that is on our website, and I would encourage you to visit our website, rmmi.ca. and watch this 9-minute video. It's rudimentary. It's not produced like Small Cap Power would produce it, but it speaks volumes. And so what you see here is after 8 weeks of cultivation using soil, hydroponics, and aeroponics is the results. And the results are in that what we see in aeroponics is consistency in height, in bloom, in density, in color. And then as we go down to hydroponics and again to soil growth, we see less of those important qualities. So something to pay attention to, and it's a good 9 minutes well spent. So the benefits of aeroponics as we see them, certainly higher yields and shorter growth cycles. So when we did our first hemp cultivation, it was 8 weeks in the making and 6 to 7 feet high in terms of the plant height and virtually no problems. Operational efficiencies, including stackable. We can stack 2 high. In fact, we're buying our equipment at double stacked heights already, and then we can stack on top of that. Organic quality products I talked about. Reduced water consumption. We use 98% less water because the roots take only what they need and the rest is recycled. Reduced power consumption. We use LED as opposed to incandescent bulbs. That's 95% efficiency in terms of photosynthesis versus 45% for incandescent. And again, I talked about reduced risk, no soil, so that eliminates one source of contaminants. This is just a couple of slides I wanted to show you in terms of what we look like. That is our typical aeroponic table. It's a double stack table. That's less than 12 feet high, incidentally, and there are 240 plants in that arrangement. This is a typical spray system, and those are the roots of our hemp products. And you can see how healthy they are. Those green things that you see at the bottom of the roots are the spray nozzles. And from that, how do we get there? We have an incredible control over air, light, water, everything else. So that's our macro environment. This is our, that was our micro environment. This is our macro environment. All of this stuff is available to be controlled, certainly anywhere in the world. That's our facility, 7.4 acres, expansion potential of 330,000 square feet, 34,000 liters of oil, or 150,000 kilograms of product. That's our hemp growth right there down in the bottom right, 8 weeks. That's our brand Alpenglow, and we hope to actually be able to display that at some time. And then our differentiators, as I said, scalable, high volume, reduced risk, higher yield, consistent quality, high purity extraction, and we think we're a pretty strong value for future investors. That's our capital structure. We're very clean. We have no debt. We have $6 million in the bank. Our ticker symbol is RMMI on the CSE. And we encourage you to contact us. George Jurczyk is our Director of Investor Relations, and we welcome your calls and your questions. And that's it. Thank you.